And I want to say before I get started, this has been a pretty bizarre week. I began yesterday spending 2 hours on a nuclear submarine in Connecticut, and I finished the day spending an hour on stage at Viacom in New York City, which ended with a selfie with Martha Stewart. And now I'm here with you guys, which is the best. I'm going to start with how I came to this. About 18 years ago, I started a biotech company developing new drugs for treating cancer. Before that, I was a physicist. Before that, I was in the consulting world. But 18 years ago, I started a biotech company. And not long afterwards, my father got diagnosed with a rare type of leukemia. And I figured, well, now I'm in the field. I'm an insider. I could do something. I have access to all the latest scientists, technologies, which I did. Unfortunately, nothing I could do made any difference. My father died not much afterwards. And over the years, as our company grew and we went public, everywhere I looked inside, big companies, small companies, trapped inside the basement of those organizations, were ideas that could have helped my father. Not because any of the people are bad people. Everyone wants to go home to their family and say, I'm making a difference, I'm doing something for a terrible disease. But because of something that happens, something weird that happens when you bring people together into a group, all of which boils down to one mystery. Why do good teams, with the best intentions and excellent people, kill great ideas? Why do good teams kill great ideas? For example, some of you, many of you, may remember that for 40 years before it became a technology company, Nokia was a manufacturing conglomerate, a pretty boring manufacturing conglomerate, famous mostly for its rubber boots and toilet papers. And over the 1990s, it grew into the leading mobile phone company in the world. 1 out of every 2 smartphones on the planet was a Nokia phone. It briefly became Europe's most valuable company at $300 billion in market value. And then in 2004, a small team of engineers came up with a crazy idea. They said, let's build a new kind of phone. It's going to have let's do a giant screen, let's make it a touch screen, and let's have these things. Here's another idea. We're going to have these things called applications. We're going to have an awesome camera, and a thing called applications are going to live in the cloud, and you can download them to the phone. You pay for them. It's going to be this amazing system. The same people that built up Nokia shot down those 2 ideas. 3 years later, that team of engineers watched their ideas come to life on a stage in San Francisco as Steve Jobs unveiled the iPhone. Not long after that, Nokia was irrelevant. And a few years later, it was sold to Microsoft, the mobile business, for $13 billion, a loss of $250 billion. Why do good teams kill great ideas? Imagine the good we can do for the world if we could liberate those trapped ideas. Answering that question for companies would be like discovering the fountain of youth, how to stay young. So to answer that question, which I'm going to do for you today, in a way that's never been done in 200 years, but I will do for you today in 18 minutes, I am going to need a prop, which I brought with me.